Hey guys, welcome back to the course. Okay, the last two lectures we sucked out, the word will always forever haunt me, sought out, and destroyed some forum communities. Tons and tons of them out there, and it's really low-hanging fruit. It just takes some time to find them, then find the people you need to message. Now in this lecture, we're gonna explore a relatively new crop up in communities called Slack. Slack, for those of you who are not cool, is a team productivity tool that's gotten really popular amongst tech companies for interdepartmental chit chat. Slack is basically a chat room except with cool colors and smooth interaction design. In reality, it's really just like a reskinned ICQ or AIM chat room from the 90s, but it's made such that it works a whole lot better. You can kind of get a hint of their origin by looking at their logo. Yes, that background is plaid, the unmistakable mark of a hipster, or my new favorite term, lumbersexual, who only uses something if it's pretty and expensive. Check and check. Anyway, what Slack wasn't predicting was the online revival of free communities using their platform for water cooler talking. And well, here we are getting ready to use those same communities to sell our stuff. So the first place to look for a Slack community that might fit your space is to simply Google any of the keywords you were previously using plus slack.com. If that doesn't really work out for you, try .slack.com instead. That sometimes works. And if neither of those work, then we can use one of 2 or 3 community lists. First, there is a slacklist.info. It, well, as you can guess, lists Slacks. Yes, I know, real original. If you can't find what you're looking for on that website, then I've listed in the resources some Medium and Inc.com posts that have attempted to essentially one-up each other in terms of how many Slack groups can we list. One of them is listed like 400, so you can probably find one. I've also linked to some ultimate lists that only have 200. So it's fair to say that it's ultimate more in the way that Frisbee can be ultimate. Slack is currently newish, so the ease at which you can find communities on it is pretty limited. Later on, you guys take this course, maybe there's a search engine for Slack groups, but right now it's pretty limited. Oh, and also, side point, we're not even sure if the company wants people to be using their system like this. Anyway, brush that off, grab a handful off of the community posts or slacklist.info, or just through Googling the ones you think will actually work, and then join them. If you haven't used Slack before, well, now is the time to try. Go to slack.com and you just install it. It's really one of the easier things ever to install, but it takes maybe an hour or two to get used to how to use all of its features and how to talk correctly. Slack works on your phone, it works on your browser, it works on your desktop, it works on your iPad, and of course, it also works on your Palm Pilot. Once you're in it, it sort of looks like this. You can see it on the screen. Groups are divided into channels and will kind of light up white when there's new activity, as in someone just said something. The name of the game here in Slack groups is relatively simple, and it's for the most part exactly like the forum game we just really went over. Slack absolutely does allow direct messaging, and currently there's no real system limiting you from taking advantage of that. Obviously, don't be obnoxious with it. Try watching discussions, and when you identify people that you think are actually worthwhile, then reach out to them. Please God, do not just go and message every single person in a group. You'll get banned very quickly. Again, use the same techniques we talked about before, ask for feedback, or again, try to take something they said and build off of it. Now, alternatively, yes, you can join in on the conversation, but be aware that these conversations are pretty ephemeral. People see them and then they get buried pretty quickly in the feed. So it's not enough to do essentially a drive-by post and post one thing and then just leave. In order to be effective and to get people to actually go to your site, you really need to stick around and field questions or follow up or, just be there. Otherwise, it's just the case that enough people probably aren't going to focus on your link, or they might just see it once and not think anything of it. Slack is, especially in some of the generic entrepreneurship sections, a great place to play that feedback card that we talked about before. In fact, our Slack chat, as part of this course, literally has a share your project channel. Go ahead, That's where you share your project. In the other communities, if there's a channel labeled something like feedback or help or questions, then you're generally good to go and post in there saying what you've done, why, and then ask for feedback on your thing. Again, don't just post 1 sentence, 2 sentences, give some background, explain what you're struggling with, say something interesting. If the community you're looking at doesn't have something like this, then just be a little more careful. If you're gonna post in something that's not designated for feedback or sharing what you're doing, it definitely helps to preface your post with something like, not sure if this is the right place to post this, and potentially at the end, even ask if, hey, is there a better place to post this? Again, we trick people with vulnerability. In general with Slack, just because of the way the chat dynamics work, try to keep your post short. 3 to 4 sentences are pretty much ideal. Anything over 3 to 4 sentences, and you're gonna be taken for kind of like a ranter, not as many people will read it, they'll see it's long and just skip it. Okay, that really just about wraps up Slack chats. They're really just a new form of a forum, but because they're free form and real time, there are a lot of opportunities to get in and get your information out there. I strongly suggest you take some time to feel out the groups just a little bit and to contribute to the discussions just a little bit before you post. For instance, if you know you're gonna be posting in, say, like the hashtag random channel, then try to join a conversation with some of the more frequent talkers of that channel. Those people are more likely than not going to be the first responders when you post something about your business or about your product, so make sure they've actually seen you once. They don't think you just joined, posted, and then left. And by all means, under no circumstances should you ever write at everyone or at channel or at here in your post. What that does is it blasts literally everyone in the channel, and it will result in the gods being very, very angry at you. I'm pretty sure that the incorrect usage of at everyone is exactly how black holes are formed. Check it out, it's a fact.